Welcome to KD Custom Woodworking, second fastest growing channel on the internet. But please subscribe, support our channel, and I'll continue the videos. Today, with my good buddy Prince, our other cameraman, well, woman, is not here today, so bear with us. We need your support because it's very time consuming to film properly, and we could show that, we believe we do things a little different. We have a little different perspective. So my challenge was, I want windows. You can see spring has sprung here, and it's a beautiful day. It's only 14 Celsius, but there's no humidity. I'm loving today. So I got a 4-foot window by 4 feet. So it's like just quick boxes, dry fitting it. I don't have the drawings for this. I'm making them up as I go along. And I got to get enough support because of the roof at the end. But I've triple stud here, and I'm going to triple stud here. So when I go along, I'm doing a shed roof. That'll take some of the weight because we're dealing with snow in our area. And I'll go crazy on top. I'll fill that all up with wood. I got the beams downstairs. So, and then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to triple that one. I'll take the weight. And we'll fill that, so I'll have a base here, because that's what we got to watch here. That's a big roof that could hold a lot of wet snow. And I got my beam there, and if you remember, we're on concrete, so that's the beautiful part over here. And I'm feeling it, so I'm going to put a piece in the back here, and I'm going to sneak the steel jack here and here so that there's definitely no deflection, but the weight's going to come down and want to go here in the middle, so we have to really beef this up as when we start getting it. So we're kind of winging it as we go along, and then that's about it. I'm going to try to put this on time lapse and show you, because when you watch this, I don't know if you guys want to hang around for an hour or two and watch us do this, but that's the reality of it. We're not speed framers. And the other thing with our area, what they could get me on, is a big window like that. If you got a hurricane, you're going to have a lot of pushing on that window coming in, all right? But I have an ace in the hole, because if you come down and you look, that big ledge there, that's sitting on concrete. If I want to sneak another piece or run an extra beam here and just build this out with a little bit of wood to spread out the load, I can do that any day of the week. And so I got an ace up my hole. So these are the things you got to think of. Why didn't I think of the 4 feet before? I found a great deal on the windows. I'm on a budget. I was going to put 4 windows here and go along, but then when I saw them, but all kidding aside, they're what they call egress. In a lot of the areas, firefighters have to get in. I only had two windows that I could pick. All right, so they want that what they call, if you have to jump out, you can jump out. And also the firefighters, if they have to come in through a window, they can come in on new construction. So be careful when you go on the second story in your area, or you're going to get burnt. All right, onward and forward. And as Prince knows, I can be impatient, but I can be meticulous. And I tell him I want the job site clean, so nobody trips. And those are my pet peeves. And I'll share my experience. Like I'm not a full-time framer by no means. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you. Okay, we're gluing in a vertical piece, and this vertical piece is so important. I put 3 screws to start it, and then Prince will come along and nail it in. I'll start on the other one, and we're gluing also the bottom. We also have a double plate at the bottom. I want to spread the load out as it comes down, but that makes sense. Probably not explaining it properly. But a lot of this is just really common sense. Just kind of add double of what you think. In this case, this column will be a little, it will be hollow because we'll put another piece on the other side, and we'll fill up with spray foam so I don't break the thermal insulation. But on the other side, we have about 2.5 inches of continuous styrofoam going, so it shouldn't be too bad, even though these are massive windows, because you're in Canada. Um, the big concern for us was the weight, yes, but you're gonna see as we start doubling this up, is we're in hurricane area or high winds and continuous winds on the house. Um, the winds coming in can move that those whole windows on that opening, and I've heard horror stories of people in the area having A-frame houses and hurricane coming in and watching their windows go in and out and hiding down the basement and praying, that that those windows don't come in. And so you can't take this for lightly in our area. Uh, how would it work in hurricane or earthquake areas? That's a different animal. Um, I'm not going to get into that one. We don't really have any concern about hurricanes, but there is a responsibility for it. Now the beam here, I glued the bottom, and there again, I'm going to have a continuous edge. So everything getting glued is connected to the glue. So everything becomes nice and rigid. And I got a bar clamp, and I'm just taking a crowbar and being able to squeeze it in. I got a little gap in there, and I'm able to just pull it out a bit. I'm watching the other piece to make sure I'm at 90. I don't really care about a level at this point, if that's a little off. What I'm more concerned about is that it's just parallel with the other frame, because all that is already level. So you're good to go. You don't have to worry about that. If you start putting another level there, you got a little hump in that wood, you created a bump out. So just make sure you're parallel with your wood. That's what's important, and then that's what shows in there. When you try to overcorrect on a small piece, you'll create a hump. And I've seen it so many times on A-frame houses, when they start getting higher and they're a little off, and then they try to overcorrect, and then all of a sudden in that middle part you have a hump. And then when you go put the cabinets on, or any kind of sort of millwork, you end up with a stupid hump, and it's brutal, and it's also hard for the plasterers, and then plasterers a lot of times get blamed for this. So do not, if you don't have that first part level, then don't proceed. Just, you'll be fine. Even, and then that's the biggest thing I could really say about that. In our case, it's really, paramount that this is solid. We're having a good time right about now, I think. It's a lot of up and down on the ladder. It's really, really hard and frustrating and long, and you're trying to get it. And Prince here, he's getting that last piece in, and, I'm barking out a little bit of orders, what I see. He's doing a good job. We screw vertically down, and you can see right here, after it's done, this part's hollow. Now, next day, I'm by myself, so I have no one to help me. And I'm doing the framing on the bottom. I try to cut all my pieces at the same time, so I can kind of be assembly line, not stop and cut. I use the bench there for cutting, and I don't want to be bending down the ground. I'm not that good with. I'm okay with the saw, but I'm not super great. I still need a square. I don't use it much. I would love to get the chop saw, but the problem is it's a high crime area, and then I got to take up the saw, take it back down, and with no stairs, it's really, really hard. So I gotta suck it up with the skill saw. I'm getting pretty good. I'm about within a 16th of each one. Not so bad. And I'm putting the frame right at the bottom there. And I went the studs there. I went every 12 inches. I'm locked in there. And this is where I said about like with the window frame being pushed in with the high winds, because that's 4 feet by 4 feet, it's going to catch a lot of wind. I've decided to triple it. So if I did 3 pieces on the top, they'll make that rigid. Why I like 3 pieces is sometimes wood will twist and then the other one will stop it. If that makes sense. Because sometimes 2 pieces, one could twist and take the other one with it, but 3 pieces, I've never seen it happen, especially glued. And I'm talking, hardwood doors, things like that, so I love that. The other thing here is the frame. I glued the frame. I'm C-clamping it, making sure it's good. The only mistake I did here is I got the nail gun. I started going there, and I was a little off on the top. I should have stopped right there. And just went on top and hammered it. I tried to hammer it. I had a little bit of a hump. The biggest thing I was very happy with, that it was nice and level. And here's blocking. This is the way I love to do it. I got support on top, one in the middle. Why am I doing that way? Sometimes just in the middle, you can have a little twist. And I've seen it. So take it for what it's worth, but I love doing it this way. Whoa, getting to the end of this framing. What these spacers really do, and everything I do, I've seen throughout the years in houses, and I've seen behind the drywall why they failed. A lot of the times these woods will just twist for no reason. You can do you put the crown stud or this stud sideways or whatever. There's really no way to predict it. And it's, you can get into science, but I'm not going to go there. Now, what I've done here is I faced it this way, mainly because I can get the insulation in behind, and I don't break the thermal barrier, like coming up, stop, wood, so I can get all that. Mind you, putting that styrofoam on the outside, about 2 inches to line up, so I won't lose really too much insulation with that. The other nice thing, man, the drywallers are going to love this, eh? You can sneak a screw every so often. But the more important thing is, I could have gone this way, but it doesn't really take care of the top. Let's say it twists there. So right here, let's picture this. I have my plywood. There's no way in hell this is going to twist now. Like from here to here, this one connected to this one, this one's connected to this one, this one's connected to this one. So I saw this on YouTube. The guy turned it this way. He's right about the thermal barrier, because he turned it the other way. That's it. I mean, what can I say? Let's take a little tour. All right, here we are. Now look at this, eh? So that's the framing for the windows. So I got 3 windows, 4 feet by 4 feet. And you can see why, we really want to celebrate this view. The green is starting to come in. I mean, you looked at some of our other videos, and they look pretty nasty. You're like, my God, where are these guys working, eh? But when summer comes, it's a little bit of a haze right now, but it's amazing here. And then the birds come all over the world from Argentina. I don't know how they do it, but they make their way up here. So that's it. Now let's talk about the framing. So I'm up here. I got a gap here. So what I'll do is I'll take the piece here and make the column here. I leave it a hollow bit, and I'll drill holes and I'll put spray foam in there. That's another thing, because if I build this up with wood, this whole column of the house could be cold, and that should take care of any engineer or any city inspector. Right across, it's a stupid amount of wood. If you can look at the very top, I'll get 2 pieces that are 16 feet long, 2x6s, and I'll lock it in. I'll put one there, another one on top, so that's locked into the frame. And that'll also keep that the joist, if it wants to turn or twist, there's no way in hell. And the same thing over here. Everything's exact because I think you figured out how my brain works. I love symmetrical things, and this is symmetrical to me. It's very, pleasing to the eye. For Canadian winter, do you lose it here? Well, I don't know. It's worth the view. I get a good key pump. That's all I could say. So please subscribe. I need your support. I'll start. I can do multiple camera angles, and I'll do some fun things. Because don't forget, I'm responsible for all the cabinets. So look at our old videos. I'm showing everything. I'm not holding back. And that's it. I gotta wait for this one. This one's a challenge. We'll talk about this one in another video. What to put in between here, right? That's fireproof. All right. So please subscribe and thank you for watching. And a lot of what we've done is on the other videos. All right. And enjoy your summer.